friends make fun of me for it all the time, which is what you want from friends, maybe? I don't know. But I always have been boring. Like, when I was 8, I told my parents I wanted to go into advertising, which is not like a dream job for anyone. But that's not the worst. When I was 7, I told my parents that I wanted to be a lobbyist, which is not something they were ready for at all. They were really scared. When I was 5, you know how you like pretend to be superheroes? I pretended to be a superhero that mediated conflicts. That's awful. But when I was 6, I wanted to be a competitive lumberjack, so at least there's something. Just gonna let go down. Speaking of boring, I was listening to NPR a little bit ago, and it was fresh air. Thank you. It was fresh air, and they're interviewing this female comedian, and she does a bit about sexting. And so Terry Gross asks her, "Do you sext?" And she gave a complicated response that basically meant yes. And she finishes by saying, "How about you, Terry?" And Terry Gross responds, "Who, me?" Which is an answer. Specifically the answer, yes. When my grandma gets really upset by something, she'll say, "Doesn't that glaze your donuts?" I don't have a joke for that, I just really love it. I think the least trustworthy people in the world are guys who just got dumped. Because if you ask them, it's always something like, "Yeah, like, she said she wanted to break up. She said she was tired of being happy all the time." Like, she's an actress. She said she needed to be, like, sad for her art or something, I don't know. It's that, or you'll ask them, and they'll be like, "Yeah, turns out she is crazy." And, like, most of the time they're lying, but, like, the 20% of the time they're not. She didn't turn out to be crazy. Like, it's not a new development. It's you realize it. I'm 18, which terrifies me because legally that means I'm an adult. This bothers me for personal reasons because I don't think I am. Like, earlier this week, I had Lucky Charms for lunch, which is not the meal you should have them for. Like, no stockbroker has ever said, "Can you repeat that stock tip? I was pouring Lucky Charms at noon." And like, I'm not just responsible for my own life, I can vote, which means that I can ruin the country. Like, I can ruin all of your lives. I don't know why you're laughing at that. Like, if you watch interviews with kids who win spelling bees, these are incredibly intelligent people who can't vote. But a couple weeks ago, my friend texted me that he hoped his GPA could get him into a good college, and I thought even his grandpa was going to donate a building somewhere. One of us can vote, and it's the wrong one of us. I was in Brooklyn with one of my friends, and he said that when he grows up, he wants to raise his kids in Brooklyn. But that was weird for me, because I don't think about having kids. Because like I said, I still think I'm a kid. Like, I don't think about having kids the same way I assume pet German shepherds don't think about having pet gerbils. Like, it'd just be a smaller version of me I have to take care for. Like, I'm already eating Lucky Charms. He'd have to eat, like, adult food. That'd be weird. It's true. But, speaking of segues, I don't know if you know this, but one of the people who was responsible for the Segway becoming a thing died because he was riding an off-roading Segway and went off a cliff. But it's funny because that means there's an off-roading Segway, which is ridiculous. That means that at some point someone saw Mall Cop and wanted that with mosquitoes. I told that joke looked at my brother. He shook his head and said, Nate, too soon.